Welcome to Company of Heroes 3 DAK Deutsche Afrika Korps Faction Guide and Strategy. In this video we will go over all of the aspects of DAK as a faction, what you can expect to learn, what are all of the necessary intel such as the specific playstyle this faction has, weaknesses and strengths of the faction, infantry and vehicle highlights, as well as strategy for playing them on the battlefield. However, it is really important to stress out that all of these intel data and strategies will not be a full capacity until you subscribe. Joke aside, if you subscribe you will get access to more beneficial videos and data. In this particular, we will briefly go over the buildings, units, which they can field, or what is the main focus and tactics and possible strategies, how to best utilize all of these tools on the battlefield. DAK is a German versatile all-around faction with strong mobility, presence and focus on gaining support of light vehicles and support of Italian detachments. Most of their gameplay should focus on playing around infantry combined arms with light vehicles. They have combined arms passive from the get-go and their infantry can repair vehicles. It also has a unique calling system which uses manpower to get additional troops which will come in a 250 half-tracks on the field regardless of commander you choose. These call-ins cover a variety of infantry and later tank units which you would usually build from tier buildings but in general are cheaper this way. Another unique ability for DAK is upgrade system, which comes from armory, which you unlock upgrades based on tier buildings you construct, making your units much stronger. It is notable that DAK is manpower consumption heavy, but fuel is not lacking in consumption either, so it is really important to play smart in the start of the game until you get some of the light vehicles out, which will provide you with greater utility and strength. As we said, they are all-around faction with access to a variety of infantry units, light vehicles, AT guns and tanks. One notable importance for DAK is that their playstyle revolves around light vehicles and lighter tanks, but with access to heavy utilities and weapons. This will once again emphasize the importance of combined arms for DAK as a necessity. When it comes to strength, DAK is a powerful faction which has access to different variety of weapons at their disposal. They play mobile but methodical gameplay, asking from players to approach engagements from different aspects. As time passes, their strength multiplies much more as they will gain access to heavy weapons such as Flak 88 and Tiger in the late game from their tier buildings. Light vehicles which they will use have multiple utilities, making them usable from early to late game, not to mention armory upgrades. Commanders are in general fillers for things which are already on the field and their working tiers. When it comes to weaknesses, the main weakness of DAK comes from big costs at the start of the game. You will start with most expensive infantry from tier 0. Basically, Panzer Grenadiers with 300 manpower have the highest price of starting infantry units, and they are nothing special, to be honest with you. DAK is also a complex faction to play. It demands from you to play with combined arms, which will make their units better, but they are not the best at anything. They are just good in combining all of the aspects which are at their disposal. From tier 0, their HQ, you can get Pioneers, Panzer Grenadiers, 250 half-track and Kraftschützen. From tier 1 building, which you can construct, Light Support Company, you will gain access for Assault Grenadiers, MG34, Medical Truck, and if you further upgrade this building, access to Flak Whirlwind, Pack and Light Support Gun. Additionally, in the armory you gain access to further research Panzer Grenadiers AT grenades and grenades package, and also 250 half-track to convert to mortar or autocannon. From tier 2 you will gain Mechanized Company building, and from that building you can get 8 Rad armored vehicle, Marder 3 and Recon vehicle, while if you further upgrade this building you gain access to Stag 3G howitzer and recovery truck. In armory upgrade, once this tier is up, you gain access to Panzer Grenadier further upgrades, which will give them 1 additional man and veterancy bonus acquisition. You will gain smoke for your vehicles and you will get a damage upgrade for the vehicles as well. Tier 3 building is Panzer Command, and here you can get Panzer 3, Flak 88 and Walking Stuka. The big thing comes in the armory, where once you build this tier, you can get infantry repair boost, vehicle auto repair when stationary and out of combat, and vehicle ability to cap and be faster. We also need to briefly mention DAK call-in special ability. So at the start of the game you have ability to call in troops which will come in 250 half-track on the battlefield. So you can get Panzerjägers, Assault Grenadiers, AT and Light Support Gun. However, if you upgrade all of the buildings, or actually if you construct all of the tiers, then you can get Tiger Tank as a call-in. Additionally, all of these infantry units which we mentioned, which will come in the field with 250 half-track, will actually now come with tanks as a support instead of 250 half-track. It is really good to use these abilities to basically fill all of these things which you need on the battlefield at one stage of the fight. With regards to commanders, we will not focus on commanders much in this video, besides that they provide DAK with utility and filler abilities. This is mostly seen through infantry units, which they can recruit from commanders, but which are both focusing on anti-infantry without any ability to engage vehicles. It's basically to fill gaps for already existing roster. This includes adding of Flame Panzer III tank, bunkers, light tanks to support combined arms and other infantry units. In early game, no matter is it 1v1 or 4v4, your focus should be on making strong presence on the battlefield and maintaining tactical engagement from cover. No aggression in starting moments are advisable if you are alone or have equal footing against enemies. If selected from commanders, then Bersaglieri squad should be first calling for infantry on the field instead of Panzer Grenadiers, because of better presence and pressure on the start, as they can be built instantly. Second squad should always be built Panzer Grenadiers. With regards to buildings, building tier 1 is a must because of a medical truck which you should prioritize in producing, since you don't have medical buildings which can heal up your infantry. Also, you can and you should send this truck forward to support frontline. Tier 1 is also a must because of the upgrades which you will get from the armory in a shape of grenades and 250 half-track utilities. You do not need to upgrade this tier further, but you can rather skip immediately to next building, tier 2, as soon as possible, as they will provide you with better vehicles and unit upgrades. And while you are waiting for this tier 2 to be built, you can get call-in unit on the field depending on the counter you need, either support gun or anti-vehicle unit. Do not forget to upgrade your 250 half-track with cannons or mortars. I would generally recommend that mortars should be prioritized, as you will have cannons covered by your light vehicles and other utilities, and this way you will do much more damage. Once tier 2 is built, you should get 8-rad vehicle armor car as soon as possible, and this is default, as you will probably struggle a little bit to keep up with enemy spams, and 8-rad is a perfect vehicle which can help. Marder is also an option because it's really cheap, but only if you are playing on open maps where you can get mobility and him in a good position. Now we're speaking late game. In late game, you will try to open all of the upgrades for your vehicles and unlock Tiger Tank if game is lasting long enough. If not, Panzer III is an option to support your line, but late game you will need most definitely Flak 88 to support your line, because Tiger III will not be able to do it alone. 8-rad at this stage should be used as a utility truck to boost your infantry which are fighting, and it can also be used as a fast cap on some of the points once you get those upgrades. Also, in late game you can cover all of the aspects of battlefield and must play in combined arms to the fullest. proper usage of Flak 88 with Stuka, Rad 8, Infantry and Tiger tank or other tanks will be key for your victory. Now in Infantry and Weapon highlights, I would say that Barzellieri squad is a long-range squad focusing on pure anti-infantry as a highlight. Gustatieri squad, also from the commander, is another but this time close-range squad which gets an upgrade with 2 flamers, and they have an epic appearance which is a huge bonus. You also have access to Flak 88 which needs no introduction, and you have Panzer Grenadiers in late game with all of the upgrades and combined arm bonuses, which can be a really strong infantry line compared to early game. Speaking about vehicle highlights, I would mention 8 Red Armored Car, which is a great early and late game unit to harass, engage, support and boost your infantry. Walking Stuka is a late game artillery which will support DAK as much as it needs, and also we have a Tiger tank as a main battle tank which we have access to. In the end, thank you, and I hope that you enjoyed, and by the fact that you are staying to the last second of the video, you probably had, so don't forget to subscribe, and we are gonna get more faction guides, strategies soon as well. See you guys.